Hey, are you able to hear me? I can't hear you. No. Setting mic settings, audio, microphone, iPhone, microphone, echo cancellation automatically adjust mic volume. Okay, chat, leave settings. I don't know what's wrong. Okay, I think say something.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you
Okay,
hear me?
so you know what? I can hear you now, girl. I couldn't hear me.
Okay. Let me just
I
say,
couldn't hear me.
Mercury retrograde is all Mercury's communication, and so it's just gonna continue to mess up the communication if we allow it. But we worked right through it.
Listen, we let it work. We let it work because I
Right.
definitely, as soon as I started, I dropped my AirPod and I was like, okay.
And
I'm
see, I
like,
call
this is how we
myself
doing it.
trying to be prepared. I had this little mic and everything, and I think that's why the mic wasn't like you may have been able to hear me, but then I couldn't hear where the sound was coming from.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. I look, girl. When I dropped the AirPod, I said it's fine. We're gonna keep going. Yes, it's okay. But everyone with me today, I have Auntie Chi, and I'm gonna go ahead and let you introduce yourself, love.
Yes, I'm gonna actually see if that's better. My name is Auntie Chi. I am a transformative mindset mentor, and my focus is on helping Black millennial women really shatter generational curses by transforming their mindset so that they can just really step into their greatness. We have so much potential within us, but it really takes a certain mindset in order to turn that into power and boss up to the shit that we deserve to have and the people that we deserve to be. So I'm just here to guide folks because I wish that I had someone on my journey of breaking my own generational curses. I made a lot of U-turns and double back, trial and error. It was a lot. And I think that if I had had the proper guidance or someone to talk to, maybe I wouldn't have taken such a long time, but I'm thankful for the journey regardless.
Yes, you know what? That's actually a really good thing because I think when I discovered like what age I actually needed to heal, when it comes to our inner child, I was like, oh, that would be the 16-year-old version of myself. So
Mm,
I was operating as the 16-year-old version of myself for like up until I was 28. And then 29 is when I was like, what age are we? I'm sorry if you guys can hear the motorcycle outside because that's crazy that he decided to do that. But I had thought, like, if you can, like, figure out what age you first started realizing or even going through traumatic experiences, you kind of get stuck there. And then
yes,
you're spending all this time, good time though, because we have to learn regardless, right?
right,
Like how to kind of survive off of that hurt. And so when other things hurt you, you're just piling everything on. You're
right.
still operating as that person. And then you get to the point where you get to adulthood. And at 30 is when I was like, you know what? Why am I acting childish? How old am I? Like, like, yeah. And childish as in how long we can carry our trauma.
Right.
And granted, anything hurtful is going to be hurtful regardless. We're going to feel it. You're going to have your days about it. But I mean, when we operate out of it without changing ourselves, like when you kind of get stuck there, you get stuck in that like it can be depressing. It can be, you can isolate yourself, like anything that is just like negative behaviors that you would do to hide yourself, like when you finally be like, you know what, okay, I need to not act like this anymore because clearly this way is not, it's
Right.
not the way to
It,
go.
Right, right. That's why it's so important to do shadow work and really get in tune with your inner child. And like you said, figuring out what age everything stopped, because then you have to
Mm-hmm.
go back and address. And it's not something that can be done all at once. I started a shadow work journey with my mentor, Rosina Love, and it was like a gradual, you ask a few questions, you do a few activities, you
Mm-hmm.
might need to burn some paper, write some stuff down and burn it, put some stuff on a plate and break it. You may need
Yes.
to, really just have those questions and those conversations with yourself and literally like
Mm-hmm.
looking yourself in the mirror and facing who you are at the core of your soul to understand, like, okay, how can I move forward with not being the 16-year-old version of myself or not being the 18-year-old version of myself, and, catch up to where I am now so that I can move and operate as an adult. And like you said, not
Mm-hmm.
at the childish age of, like, how old are you?
Yes.
Like, for
Because it's
real.
like, we really, and I'll say for myself, I'll speak from experience. Like, when I realized that I was operating as my 16-year-old self, that was so damaging because I was in my own way. Like, nobody could tell me anything. And like, that should be something that we would want to do, but in a humble way. I wasn't humble about mine. Mine
Mhm.
was all negative. Like, you can't tell me what to do. And when
Right.
I realized, like, in order for you to even steer yourself right on your journey and on your path, you have to be able to be corrected. You don't know what it's going to look like or where you're going to go, but it's like, you still want to make sure that you have people side by side of you, that are in
Right.
alignment with where you're going, know where you're going. They see that vision for you versus thinking, I don't need anybody on this journey with me.
Right.
That's that was a learning that was a really big learning experience because when I say I operated at 16, I mean, like, my 6-year-old self, girl. I don't know. That was a whole lot. Okay, that's a whole lot of a person, and I carried that person in friendships, family, relationships. And it's that age where you're rebellious. Can't nobody tell you nothing. You just so lost.
Right. And like you said,
That is
not
how
open
I was
to the
operating.
learning. We don't realize, like, it's other options than the ones that we think of. Like, how you
Mm-hmm.
was, I was very much the same way. You couldn't tell me shit. Okay. I
Right.
knew what I wanted and I was going for it. You can put your
Right.
2 cents in, but here go 5 cents back. You can keep it. And so being
Right.
able to be open to other people's perspectives, that are on the outside looking in, that's what really takes, like you said, being humble about it and being open to, like,
Mm-hmm.
receiving knowledge from others, because that's really how having the right influence around you is how you level up to being a better version of yourself, because clearly you don't have it
Yes.
all. You're right here, but there's so much more further to go, and sometimes you need to be in
Right.
the right direction.
Right. And you know what? I think it also comes to, like, okay, so then let me ask you this. On your journey to building what you want for you and what you see for yourself, what would you say has been challenging but strengthening at the same time?
Like you said, really being able to, like, humble myself and
Mm-hmm.
be open to the fact that I'm not perfect, because
Okay.
I very much feel like, whatever I want for myself or whatever I say over myself, it is what it is, but not being
Right.
open to, the possibility of other things. So I would definitely say humbling myself has been something that I've had to practice. It didn't come naturally.
Mm-hmm.
And also just really being open to digging deeper and then speaking up for myself, because I really feel like a lot of times it would be me kind of keeping quiet about something, but then I'm sitting here
Mm-hmm.
really just about it or
And it's
going
eating you
along with
up.
it. Yeah, it is. And you be like, the anxiety then caused the
Mm-hmm.
depression. And it's like, wait a minute, how the hell you gonna be grown and you letting somebody else dictate what goes on for you? So really being able to speak up to the adults and not be seen
Yes.
disrespectful. But it's like, I'm a grown ass woman too now.
Yeah.
I ain't that
Okay.
little kid y'all
Listen,
used to know. So that
that
definitely
staying in a child's place days is over.
right.
We not.
Over. Okay.
I can't stay in a child's place no more because if I get back little, that means you bigger than me, and we
Right.
supposed to be eye level because nobody's better than nobody.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. So I would
yes, we
just
get there. But speaking up for yourself, that's a big one
yes.
because
Yes.
it's how to do it too. Because when we speak up for ourselves, we can go there. We can take it there when we speak up for ourselves. But there's a right way to do it and there's a wrong way to do it. And I think if your intentions are to just be understood, then that's the right way to do it. But
Right.
if you're speaking up for yourself because you want the chaos that comes with it, then that would be the wrong way to do it. But when I say speaking up for yourself, it's like, even if it comes out what you would think sounds rude, but that's how it came out, that wasn't That's how it was intended to come out. You were
Right.
supposed to say it like that.
Right.
So
Right.
yes, speaking up for yourself is hard. It is hard because it's situational.
You're right. Yeah. The way I would speak up for myself to my daughter is different than the way I would speak up to myself to her dad.
Yes.
And like, you said the way that you do it, when you coming at somebody with all this rah, rah, rah energy, they don't receive the message. All they see is the confrontation and, the
Mm-hmm.
anger. But if you really figure out, and that's the thing I had to do too, is like really have that mental conversation with myself. Okay, like, how am I going to approach this? What am I going to say? What can they possibly say? And then how do I react to that? So that way I stayed within a peaceful way of
Mm-hmm.
delivering my message. And even if they want to take it to that rah, rah, rah level, I'm still remaining,
Yeah. That
calm.
piece, that sitting duck, right?
Yes.
Where you're like, if I do speak, I could air this whole room out.
For real.
But because I can air this whole room out, I'm just not gonna air this whole room out.
Right. Right.
That self-control is liberating in itself. But I appreciate that for that being like something, one of the things you can, remember, because it is speaking up for yourself, like being, it's situational, that's like picking your battles.
Right. Right.
You
And
feel
then
me?
too,
And
not
it's
like when you realize the way that people act and the way that people get down is nothing to do with you. You stop taking
at
stuff personal.
all.
Stop
Yes.
personal stuff. Like, I ain't even worried about that because you fighting your own demons. So y'all
Right.
have a good day. See you when I see you.
Right. Like, I don't know how you woke up this morning, but because I know I didn't wake up with you or like
Right.
that, I'm not internalizing what you got going on. And that was a realization that I had. Let me see. 56 hours ago.
Mm.
I was self-sabotaging myself over internalizing everything. Like literally internalizing everything. I think that just comes from being a natural caring person. But then I realized I wasn't caring anymore. I was being a people pleaser. And I learned this 56 hours ago. So yes.
And it's good that you are realizing that so then you can change the way that you move. And it's
Oh
one thing
yes.
to be nice and do nice things for people, but when it starts to tap into your own cup that you have ready to pour for yourself, it's like, hold on,
Mm-hmm.
step back, and you going, because then people get dependent on you because they know, like, oh, she'll do it. I could call Heaven
Right.
and she
Oh yeah. Why wouldn't you do it? Right. Then they start
right.
treating you like that. Why wouldn't you do it? Like, because I just
You been doing
yes.
it.
And then we got to tie back into speaking up for yourself.
Right. Right. That's where that come in.
The way to break people pleasing is to speak up for yourself. Because when you realize a person can't digest what you just said, and it's as simple as no,
Right.
why am I here?
No explanation needed. Like, no is a whole sentence within itself.
Right. If as soon as somebody gets mad at you for not doing something, that's why on this journey, on our journeys to finding and creating and being, right? It's funny when you look back and you can see the things that you've overcome and you now use self-control, right? And you use discernment. You can look at those situations now and be like, I really let that get to me.
Right. It's so funny you say
What?
that. I just started rereading some of my journals from like 2 years ago, and I'm like, that's what you was tripping on? That?
I love finding the old journal because I literally let me see, May 8th, I found a journal from the year before on May 7th.
Wow.
And when I read it, I said, wow, I'm not even, the problems I wrote down aren't even existing anymore.
Right.
Like,
That's a blessing.
I said, what? And then I go a little deeper to find like, okay, so I was trying to figure out the year, and I think this is 1999 because I was 8 and I was in the 3rd grade, and my grandma kept my news article.
Aww.
And she gave it to me, and I was like, when you really like start building to who you want to become, you start looking back at like your child life and how you actually was creating it the whole time. Like, but little did you know, life gets in the way, and you're in teenage years and adult years, life start, you know what I'm saying? You got to learn how to, You feel me? You got to learn how to navigate. And when you start thinking like, you like, wait, okay, so I think I was destined for something else,
Mm,
destined for better, right? So you kind of look at the situations where you fell short or you let yourself down and you kind of realize you needed those.
right.
Because there's healthy fallouts, even if it comes negative.
That's a word. That's a whole word right
Okay? There's healthy fallouts because I can't stand when people want to tie in negativity to fallouts. Listen, if you're not for me, you're not for me.
there. Exactly.
I
Exactly.
ain't gonna force it, and you can't squeeze into my life. So
And sometimes it's like you said, it's not a bad thing. It's just the fact that like
right,
we've grown apart. We're on two different paths. And like you said,
right,
nobody's better than anybody. It's just your path is over
exactly.
there and mine is over here, and they no longer cross. But I wish you the
Might meet
best.
you later. I might meet you later.
Exactly. Right?
Might meet you
If it's
later.
meant
You
to
know, we
be.
don't know when we gonna meet again, but if it doesn't work right now, it don't need to.
Exactly.
And
Because
I
there's so
think
much other stuff that's working right now.
exactly, exactly. And I'll say just building the foundation, like challenging for me, I would say is it would have to be exactly what you said. But speaking up for yourself really stuck with me, honestly, because we deal with that every day.
Right.
Every day, whether it's a job, a friend, a relationship, a family member, your own
Old lady at
decisions.
the gas station, all of that.
Okay. You pull them up there like, I'm just trying to get gas.
Okay, I'm not here for all that other stuff. Have a good day.
Thank you. Okay, unless you're gonna put the gas in there, but with your money.
Right?
then, then okay, you know. But yes, like I definitely what brought me to you, I will say, is the passion for understanding the mind of Black people. Because I realize we have to be patient to do that.
Yes.
Because as soon as a Black person cut up, we like, I knew you was gonna act like that.
It's like we don't have faith in ourselves as a community, which is sad.
We are cutting ourselves short fast. Like a
Right.
Black person can do something, you'd be like, this one. What's that one thing we say? This one, all skin folk.
Exactly. All skin folk and kin folk.
Oh no! But I definitely, I love that you are doing this because we need these spaces to talk and have these conversations without feeling judged, not just by because we already judge ourselves, right? But looking at someone that looks like you,
Right.
talking to another Black woman about what Black women go through, and
Right.
it's such a soft conversation. We're not talking at each other. There's no rah
Competition.
rah going on. We're just
Yeah.
in our own, in our own, and having a normal conversation. And I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that definitely is why I chose Black women. And I know that some people may come across my information, my webpage or whatever, and it kind of feels like, oh, well, why I can't be included? I can't relate to you. And that's not a bad thing, but it's just I don't know the experience of anything other than being a Black female millennial. And those are
Yes.
people that I know if y'all had an upbringing like I did, because chances are if you're in the millennial age range, your parents are like my parents. And so
Yes.
that experience for us was something that it just cannot, it's just an experience, like I
Yeah,
can't,
we had the crack. We had the
man,
drug era parents.
okay. It
Okay.
was a lot going on. They had
Some
their
of us
own
didn't
trouble.
have parents. Okay.
Exactly. Some of us did not have parents. Some of us had parents, but like Kendrick said, I got daddy issues. We all got parental issues in some
We
way.
all got them.
So
It's yes,
it's time
yes,
to really crack the code and get the cheat code, and just really come out of that. Like we can't
yes,
hold on to that as an excuse to be less than what our best
yes.
version is.
You know what? I had a conversation with a friend yesterday, and I was speaking towards um, the fact that ego and intimidation will keep us in fear of being around people that are Black and of higher status.
Hmm.
You get what I mean? You get
Yeah.
uncomfortable around them if you're not there yet because you feel like, why not me? Instead of why not me? How can I make it me? How can
Right.
I make it me?
Right.
And
Be open to
I think, say that one more time.
be open to learning from them, like surrounding yourself with people.
Yeah. you gotta, if you want, I'm realizing that in order to really be better, it's more than just a saying. It's more than just, seeing it. Like, you gotta do it. And us as Black people, we give up fast
Yes.
as hell. Okay? A little bit of uncomfortableness, we find it somewhere else to go do something else at.
And be
But if we
uncomfortable, then
stuck,
run from that too.
okay. Okay. But if we actually allowed ourselves to see more of something instead of wanting it so fast because we feel like we deserve it, which we do, that's like a no-brainer. We do. But it's the patience that comes with that.
Right.
And I think us as Black women, we can be very impatient with wanting things to happen right now because we want to feel it, because we know that our time is compromised. So we want to go fly out of the country. We want to go do this here. We want to touch this type of this. We want to be over here because not only do we deserve to, the Black women deserve to do that.
Right.
The Black women deserve to do that. And it's like, if we understood that we are not in competition with each other, and we understand it, but when I say as Black women, we're going to speak to the ones that don't understand it, that get uncomfortable in spaces of being around other outspoken Black women that, can be confident, walk in a room, turn the light on without touching the switch, and not feeling like, oh my God, she's better than me. If we could be in those spaces and be like, oh my God, girl, you are shining, and mean it,
Right.
we could get further in life.
That's so true. That is so
true. Because
true.
we can't do it by ourselves. We need each other. Like,
right.
That whole, remember being a kid and everybody hold hands in a circle?
Yeah.
And you see how strong that motherfucking hand be?
Right.
And how strong that force is? That's how Black women need to be now.
Right.
We spend a lot of time separate, and we know we can do it on our own, okay? But it's no more time for that. It's time to come together, and actually build together, because it's a lot of us that could do a lot of things. Right. and we can definitely go further with more people together than you can by yourself. And I had to learn that, because I was a lone wolf for a long time. I'm telling you, that 16-year-old inner child struggle was real.
And see, that's, I think a lot of us have, I know, speaking for myself, I've had that experience as well, feeling like I'm not going to even open up because I know you're not going to be able to relate to me. Like, I'm such a complex soul that it's like, I'm going to stick to myself, and I'm going to figure it out along the way. But like you said, we need each other, because there are so many of us that are complex and that do, certain things or know different things. And so it's like, if we could come together and share the knowledge amongst all of us, as opposed to just ourselves, like, we can go so much further, so much faster if we, come together as a community.
Yes. And that's why I say I love what you're doing. And I'm very happy to even be speaking to someone that is as passionate as you are about what you're creating, because it's time we surround ourselves with people in their passions, people that are doing the work. Because like you said, with shadow work, you got to do the work. And shadow work is not just decluttering, saging, fasting, meditating. No, shadow work is knowing that when you wake up tomorrow, what you thought you were over, it has a little more work. And it's going to be a little more uncomfortable than it was yesterday, but it's only because you're shedding it. Right. You get what I'm saying? It's not going to be because when people say, oh, well, when you say love and light, and it's like, okay, do y'all know that with love and light, like, you have to be truly experiencing it? So in order to experience these emotions, you're going to also have to experience this second side of them in order to know how to do it. You're not just going to, we have to trick our minds, right, into believing the better of things. So yes, when you wake up in the morning, you do need to tell yourself good things. So that way, if something opposite happens, you can still believe that something good will.
Right.
But if you
Right.
wake up and you claim that it's just going to be terrible because yesterday was terrible, then it's like, then you're not allowing yourself to feel through things. Because a lot of the times, the only reason why we hold on to shit so long is because we felt it.
Right. Right. The universe is
You
going
know?
to support us in whatever we put out. So we have to be intentional with, like you said, when I wake up, I'm setting the tone for my day. So if I wake up in gratitude and
Absolutely.
I thank you for, letting me see another day. If I'm saying hello to my ancestors, or, just making that connection, that's setting the path for a positive outcome, as opposed to like, damn, it's Monday, I got to get up again. Like,
Okay.
in your mindset is going to be that domino effect for how everything else plays out. So like you said, you have to trick your mind into always being in that like lighter vibration. And everything has duality. So just like there's love and light, there's rage and darkness too. But you have to understand, like, when people go through things, and sometimes, like you said, they carry it because they felt it so bad, you have to understand that that was just a situation, that was just an experience for you to
It had
have.
to
Like,
happen.
it go, it happened, something else is going to happen, but you have to focus on the present moment and how you can be yourself in this moment, as opposed to constantly holding on to some stuff that happened before. And it's like, okay, it happened, but what did I learn from it? How can I use this experience to help me, boss up to the next level in terms of just being someone who is open and intentional about the actions that they take?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because you know what? It's one thing I will say, because um so remember that question I asked about what chapter of, like, what would you chapter your life right now?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so when I said journey to wealth, I realized because I don't want to be in a financial like bind. I don't want to be feeling like money is everything. Like I want to be to the place of like you have more to give, you know?
Right.
And it's like for your chapter as well, I say that it's so interesting how we have either been on those chapters, going through those chapters, or are on the way to it. You know, like
Right.
everyone has gotten somewhere that you want to be. Now,
Mm,
finding those people comes with, I guess, with would be openness, right?
right.
Figuring out who to talk to and how to talk to them because we can get ratchet and have ratchet conversations all the time. I don't get me wrong. I love the ebonics and stuff like that. I like ghetto stuff. You know what I'm saying? Very
Right. I
glad.
want to do hood rat stuff with my friends.
Right. Yes. Yes. I want to be very out. Yes. But then the other side to it is I also want to be able to still do those things, but in settings where it's not like chaotic. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I want to
Right.
see black people like flourish. Like I want to see us really like and some people say that's like not a good way to think because that could never happen, but I believe it can. And I think that I seen a post on Instagram about living in delusion. And when I was younger, I was always told like, you don't take anything serious. Like you need to take something serious. And I realized like getting older, why the fuck do we have to be so goddamn serious?
Right. Who wrote that rule
Why?
and following
Yeah,
it?
why can't I laugh at this? Like why can't I take this with a grain of salt, like y'all said?
Right. The
Because when
hypocritical.
you take it, like, why can't I take it with a grain of salt? Because when you do take it with a grain of salt and you realize that you don't carry it, it fixes itself.
Hmm.
It's kind of like when you're a kid, you fall, you get up, and you got to scrape. 3, 4 days later, you done put all that goddamn Vaseline on it, and it
Can't even
goes
see
away.
it. Right.
That's because you knew it was gonna heal when you fell.
Right. Right.
If you didn't hurt yourself and you just scraped your knee, you know that thing gonna heal. Just don't pick at your scab, like that.
Right.
So it's like if we lived in the thought of it can get better and it can be better, tricking your mind would be a lot easier because when you really think about it, there's always someone that is going to need help and you can always be one of them, no matter
Right.
what that looks like.
Right. That's so true.
So,
I wanted to touch on what you said about the hanging out with friends and doing stuff. I think that I love what you said about, wanting to see Black women flourish. And, whether that's
Yes.
for a group of friends or those are business partners, like I want to be able to have business meetings and talk investment and getting funding,
Right.
that kind of stuff. But I also want to go have mimosas and chop it up about, how you would
Okay.
down on the dance floor. That's again me being the complex person I am. Like, I don't think it's delusional to think that we could win, because if Michelle Obama out here doing it, and Kamala Harris and all these other people, Oprah, Brandy, like they followed their dreams and they live in the life that they desired. I really truly feel like if you can desire it, if God can put it within your mind as a thought, you deserve to have it. But like you said, we
Mm-hmm.
have to stop being so impatient, because if you desire it and you deserve it, you need to be dedicated to making it happen. What is the plan that you're going to put into play to really coming up on living this life that you desire to have? Because it's
Mm-hmm.
possible. It's just putting yourself in the right places to get the resources and the knowledge and knowing the people to help you get a
Mm-hmm.
little bit further along your journey.
No, that's so true. Like, even though I know R. Kelly is shunned and everything, but when I was in piano, one of my songs at my recitals that I performed was I Believe I Can Fly. And he said,
Oh,
like, if you can see it, then you can achieve it. If you can
right,
believe it, then that.
right.
Well, I think I said it backwards, but y'all catch my drift.
Okay.
But
For
I
sure.
said that to say, like, the first time I've ever executed anything and finished something in my life was when I was in piano.
Mm,
I would learn a song. I got to the point where I played without the sheet music, and I executed my recitals. And when I think about that now, just thinking of that, it's like those would be the times that I need to think about when I get stuck in a situation that I feel I'm stuck in, and instead looking at it like, hey, but you've executed other things before, so why
right,
would this be something you can't overcome? Why?
right,
It
right,
can. It can. You're gonna get over this, and when you do, you're gonna look back and be like, that was just like a bump. I think we look at our shortcomings and things that steer us left when we're trying to go right as a negative, but sometimes you need to be shooken up a little bit so you can realize, like, oh shit, I wasn't being thankful. I got
right,
you, universe. My bad.
right,
I'm
right.
slow down when I drive through this neighborhood though. I ain't gonna hit no other bumps, no potholes, no nothing. Okay, I got you. Like, so
That's
I
so
feel like we need
true.
those constant reminders.
Hmm.
We
That's
do.
definitely true. And I think that kind of goes back to, like I was saying, just reading through it. Journaling should be a habit for, I think, everyone, because self-reflection is very important. And journaling doesn't always have to be like sitting down with paper and writing. You could turn your video camera on selfie style and record yourself speaking, or do a voice note and then come back to it and look at it later. But being able to really see, like you said, sometimes the shortcomings, we maximize the hell out of those. We go
We
so
make them long
hard.
comings.
Right, right.
They
We make
temporary. That was supposed to happen so you could know that something better is on the way. Like, hello, you don't
exactly. So
surprise.
when we journal about, like, okay, these negative things happen, we have to be just as balanced and talk about the positive things that happen. So when we
Right.
go reflect, we can remember and remind ourselves, like, oh yeah, you did do that 40-page essay and you got an A plus.
Right.
Or you did
Right.
save up $1,200 and you dropped it on a car or a house or something like.
Yes.
Just reminding yourselves that you are capable of doing, because like you said, I did it before. All I have to do is apply the pressure and do it again. It's a different
Right.
situation.
And do it again and again and again, because I was like, I think it's the repetition at this point. And the more I speak to like-minded individuals, the more I realize that I'm still on the right path. Like, nobody knows what you're truly battling unless you tell them, right? But it's the silent battles for me that we end up showing unconsciously, because silently we could be in our own worlds, like, really like, dang, this and that, this and that. The outside world don't know what the hell going on. Nobody gonna know until you tell them,
Right,
right?
right,
So nobody knows what's going on, but we will project what's going on because we're silently dealing with it versus speaking about them. Because some people say, well, don't speak, everything that you speak can speak into existence. Yes, but if I don't want something to happen and I'm speaking that into existence, then it's not going to happen still, because I
right,
don't want it to happen. So as much as you talk about what you want to happen, you still got to speak about what you don't want to happen too.
right.
But you need more wants than don'ts, though. That's
Exactly.
absolutely true.
And as you
Absolutely true.
speak about the things that you don't want, put in place what you do want. Like, I
Right
don't
after you
want.
say it, I don't
Exactly.
want a negative day. I want a positive one. Boom.
Exactly. That's how you go about that. So you're
Yes.
cultivating what it is that you do want and you're bringing it to you. That's all the law of
That's
attraction.
it.
That's it.
Yes. Yes.
Manifestation is real.
And it's a beautiful thing. Like when we come to realization of like being aware of ourselves and realizing that it's not selfish to make sure you're okay.
It really isn't.
How are you gonna be? How are you? Okay, well, it doesn't make you a good person to help people when you're not okay.
Because then you're disrespecting yourself. If you're giving to everybody else, but you haven't given to yourself, how are you even giving to these people? You giving
You
them
have
two
energy to
gallons
give. You
and
have
you only
energy to
got
give to
20
somebody
ounces.
else. But
Right. Make it make sense. It doesn't.
look, I learned this thing on YouTube because I watch frequencies, right? So
Oh,
this lady was saying to rub your hands together and just like rub them real fast, maybe like a minute and 30 seconds, right? You just rub your hands, rub your hands, rub your hands, and you're placing the energy into your hands. And then when you open your hands, you place that energy wherever you want it. So say you're having a headache and you just rub your hands and you place it on your head and you're like, I put energy into relieving this headache. I don't want this headache. Boom.
okay. I like that. I'm gonna have
And
to.
it works because you're psyching your mind, you're not tricking your mind for the bad, you're tricking your mind for the good. Because as just as much as bad that we can do good too.
Right.
And
Right.
I think I seen an interview, I forgot this lady's name, but it was beautiful. She was saying how we have positive and negative thoughts. It's just which ones you're going to actually run with. You're
Right.
going to have negative thoughts. So when people say you got to think positive, that's true. But just remember, the negative ones are still there, and that's what you are actually trying to stop.
Right.
You're not going to stop them completely, but you can intercept them, like you said. When you have a negative thought, follow it up with a positive one.
Exactly.
When you talk about what you don't want, follow it up with what you do want. And that helped me today because I needed to hear that because as polished as people think I can keep it, I look like I can keep it together, but I'm human too. I go through shit too, which is why I have a podcast because I think that there's more people in the world that can relate to what I go through and you actually feel understood.
Right. And
And
seeing.
and then you don't take it so hard when someone says everyone's going through something.
Right.
Because when you're going through something, you don't want to hear that, but you have to hear that because that it's the truth, because that also will set you free from holding on to it so strongly to where you can actually navigate through life and find people that have been through it and overcame it. Now, don't find people that have been through it and is staying in it. Get away
Right.
from them. Get
We're
away
not
from them.
trauma bonding. No.
We are not trauma bonding, and I'm sorry. Stagnant energy, I cannot do it.
Yeah.
I only have patience to sit at the red light. Soon as that motherfucker green, I'm out.
It's go time.
Guy, bye, bye.
Right.
So it's like, it's that's where the freedom comes from. Like our if you can see a problem, you can see a solution.
Exactly. It's
It's
all
just how
fine.
you're looking at the solution, right? Like if you want the solution right now, and goddamn well that shit gonna take time. Give yourself grace in that moment for being impatient, but
Right.
just know it's gonna get better. And a
Right.
lot of people don't like hearing that because when I tell people like, "Oh, it's gonna get better," and they're going through something, they don't like hearing it. But it's like, what do you want me to say? I can't. If I help you feed this problem, it's gonna get bigger, and then you're not gonna see the solution.
Right.
And then I'm gonna have to hear your problem like for 4 days. I'm not doing that.
Right. Yeah.
I'm on a 24 to 48 hour problem solving thing,
Right.
but you need a solution by day 3 and day 4.
Okay. You got one day to cry it out, and then you need to be moving on with
Come on, you
what
got
are the
to,
next
because
steps to address it.
yeah, you can't hold yourself back like that, and don't put
Right.
yourself in a position to where you're stuck. Like the transitioning mindset, right? That you are creating and that you are pushing for others and for the Black women, like not others. We still saying Black.
Right.
um, it's important because that's the key to it.
It
A
really.
lot of people think it takes 22 days or 21 days to break a habit. No, the second you change your mind, you can do it. Because the
Right.
second you change your mind, your body will follow.
You have to
But
have
if
the.
you're like, I can't do it because I need 22 days to do it, your body gonna be like, well, shit. On day 3, you
We
said you
clock
wasn't
out.
drinking, but why the fuck we drinking? Why I want some tequila?
Right.
Because you didn't say in that moment that I'm gonna be honest with myself, and I'm gonna start, not try, but I'm gonna start to change this habit and make it better. Instead, it was, it's going to take me 22 days to change this habit. Because when you think of 22 days, you're like, God damn.
That's almost a month.
It's a long ass time.
Right.
But when you realize that it's a moment, it's that minute, it's that second that you change your mind and you say, you know what? I'm going to stop doing this. Right. And I'm going to start doing. I'm really glad that you said that when you say what you don't want, add something that you do want at the end, because that's really, because it's an incomplete sentence when you say, I don't want something. That's it.
Right. Right.
The universe, like, okay.
You don't want this, but I can give you this.
You
and that
okay,
still not be
what do you want?
Right.
What do you want? It's going to be a confusing ass day. You better hurry up.
Right. It reminds me, I think it was Tyrese when he was like, what more do you want from me? You got to be specific.
My best friend Nisha, she told me one day, I was telling her about like manifesting, and she's like, you know how serious you have to be about it. And she's like, you actually have to write it down. You actually have to do this. And as she's starting to tell me the steps, I'm like, ooh, maybe that's why shit not happening for me. Because I didn't know I needed all that.
It's just multiple ways to put it into the universe. You know, some people are better with oral communication, and once they say something, it begins to happen for them. Some people are better with writing, and when you write it down, it's like it becomes real. And then some people, it's like, for me, I love sitting in the bathtub with the lights off and a candle and looking into that flame and just speaking my manifestations. That's like everybody's, you know, if you get into astrology and stuff like that, your natal chart will tell you, you know, what elements you resonate with. You might need to take your shoes off and go stand in some sand or some dirt or some water and, you know, really put it out there into the universe.
Mine is talking.
That communication.
Yeah. Because I'm a Gemini Cap. I'm a Capricorn rising. And my sun and my moon are Geminis.
So see, and that's exactly why you have a podcast.
Yes, talk your motherfucking ear off. But like talking is my best thing, only because I've always like tried, like I like to understand people, like the real parts of them though. Like I don't care about what you want to make sound good. No, like I want to know why when you get quiet. Yeah, like I want to know why when you get quiet, why do you get like super duper 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 quiet? Like, are you thinking? Do you not want to be bothered? Like, I like to understand people to where they understand themselves.
Yes, I love that. That is exactly,
you know, like I like to know, like, why do you do what you do?
Yeah, because it's like that helps you understand like why people tick and why people are the way that they are, and then also like what their mindset is. You know, like when people know if I get quiet, it's something wrong, because any other time you talking. So what's going on? What's on your mind? You know, and for someone else, it might be like, oh, I'm quiet because I'm high, or I'm quiet because I'm pissed off, or I'm quiet because I'm thinking. And so, you know, everybody's like all the wires connect differently for every single person, even twins. You know, built differently. So I really love that. I love understanding people too, because it helps you understand like it's so many different individuals within the world, you know?
So many. And you know what? We literally see, if you take all this shit away that we got to pay for, right? With responsibilities and stuff, everyone is the same person. We want to live good lives. That's it.
Right.
That's it. But this shit gets in the way, okay, and like blurs the motherfucking lines, because then people get the saying what they got and what you don't got and how it makes you. Honestly, see, the thing about this is, you know, when they talk about in the Bible getting back to Eden and living on top of the world. See, the thing is, it's crazy that people want to live super, 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 super good now. My question is, what you gonna do in your afterlife?
Right.
If you living it up right now, you might come back as a motherfucking dandelion
and get blown away. Oh man, but that's
okay. But and there's somebody else that just enjoyed what they had, enjoyed being a spiritual being in a human body and enjoying the experiences that they can take and have, and they come back as a solid tree.
Right. Or don't have to.
It's just, you know, it's just, I just think like, I think that far into it because I just wish that we didn't look at each other so judgy, because growing up, you know, and being Black is so, it's easy for us to judge, you know, we've done it. People that are doing their healing work for themselves and are worrying about themselves, not worrying, I take that back because words are definitely spells, that are building themselves up, okay?
Right.
And making themselves to be the best versions of themselves. When you like look at like, where was I going with this? I lost my train of thought because whoever was walking by my car, she was like standing there for a little bit.
You gotta watch folks nowadays.
Girl,
But
because I was looking,
I did
because, you know,
like what
where
you said
I am
about
and
just
what's over here.
everybody wants to live good, but the thing is, when
Yes.
we have so much stuff from society mixed in,
Yes.
you got people wanting to get Teslas, and like all of this stuff is everybody's definition
And
of
they tell
good.
you broke because you don't spend your money the way they spend their money.
Financially broke, spiritually broke, two different things. I would rather be spiritually rich than to be financially rich, because that speaks to how I'm going to be living my life. Everybody's definition of good is different. And so if you good,
Yes.
got a Tesla and a 4-story home, cool. I'm good
Yes.
because I got peace and quiet. And when I wake up, I'm talking to God. I'm listening to the birds chirp. Like, everybody's definition of what a good life is different. And I think that's where the judgment comes in at, because you got to go get to the core of your soul and really understand what's
Yes.
good for me. Like, I can't be worried about what Tom, Dick, and Harry want. What is good for me? And as long as I got that, I'm good. But then when you start looking at Twitter and you see so-and-so just went and dropped 5 stacks on, a new butt, you start questioning yourself. Like, damn, do I need a new butt too? Like, do I need to do this? Like,
Do I need to? I'm not doing enough. Why I don't
right,
got a Mercedes? Why
right.
don't I have a house and I'm 30?
Are you good where you at though? As long as you good where you at,
Shit like
that's
that.
all that matters. And it's
Yes.
okay to transition. Like, over the time, I don't want to be where I was at 25. If I'm 35, I should have moved up. But
Yeah.
as long as I'm good in every chapter, that's how you have peace in your life. And stop looking at what everybody else wants, because what's good for them,
Okay.
they cool with it. But
Yeah,
you
and
got
you
to
know
get
what?
to a Tesla and be happy.
I had to learn, Chi, that I was living 5 years in a day. Like, what I want out of life, I would think needed to happen that same year,
Instantly.
that in a month, in 2 months. Not realizing that you have to be a certain you have to become and keep becoming, you know, to even appreciate these things that you want so bad.
Right.
Because
Right.
you can't just, I mean, you can have them, people do it, but look at what people do with it.
Right.
When you get something that you're not ready for, look what happens.
It can be taken away just like that. Like you were saying earlier, the universe is gonna see, like, okay, you didn't appreciate how I just saved you whenever you ran that red light. Let me put you in a car accident and see how you feel now. Like, if you
Okay.
don't appreciate the things you have in your present, how can you expect to have better in your future? You got to be, it's so, I don't know, I guess because we're in the Western world or whatever. Like, I used to think it was just California, like everything is so fast paced. And when I moved out here, I'm in Houston now, they're a lot slower, but it's just the world that we live in. We don't take the time to just be in the present moment. Like, we either tripping on some
Yeah.
shit that happened in the past, or we worried about what's gonna happen in the future. But it's
So
like,
we worry about some shit that didn't even happen yet.
right, look at where you at right now. At some point in your life, you prayed for this. So just sit here and be within it before it's taken.
Yes.
And you be back down on the 3rd level. You on the 5th level right now. Appreciate that. Stop
Yes.
about the penthouse.
Yes.
Be on the 5th level and enjoy everything that comes with it.
And you know what's crazy? When you go outside and you get in the world, right? Because you're out of your world, you're in the world. And I think the reason why people get so irritated with one another is because they think they're clashing, the worlds are clashing, but it's not. You are who you are, I am who I am, and then we're outside. That's it.
Right.
We're outside for 2 totally different reasons, unless we twins. And I left with you and you left with me.
Right.
And you know why I'm outside. Other than that, we're not outside for the same thing. So there's no reason for us to have chaos with each other.
Right. Exactly.
You should be able to go make it back home and to your destination safely, and so should I.
Exactly.
The wires get crossed when people think that it's about them outside. It's not about you outside. Outside don't got nothing to do with you.
That right there is something I had to learn with road rage, because I'm the type of person, you cut me off or you ain't using your blinker, I'm a honk and I'm gonna talk shit, and I might use a certain finger on. But I had to realize, like, you out here flying 80 miles per hour when the speed limit is 60 because you didn't leave on time. That don't got shit with me. That don't got shit to do with me. I got a child. I got a life to live. I'm trying to make it back home safe.
Okay.
So I'm gonna let you have
Okay.
it. And I pray that you make it to where you going safely and you don't injure nobody on the way. But I really have to get out of
Absolutely.
the mindset of taking that personal. Like they out here wilding out because they got stuff going on. Like you should have been on a plane 2 hours ago, and that's why you out here acting crazy.
Absolutely. Look, I had this revelation with traffic, okay? Because I was in traffic one day and I was going off like, y'all stupid, you stupid, you're stupid, I hate you. And then I'm like, oh my God. Now I got to the point where I've been practicing to stop saying hate. Like, I don't want to hate anything. So I've been trying to practice that. So when I was in traffic that day, I was hollering, I'm cussing, I'm doing this. So then when the traffic clear up, I'm trying to just chill on the freeway because I'm off work. And it's going behind me and stuff. I'm like, why is everybody driving fast? So I realized this. I said, when there's traffic and you can't move, how do you act? When you go through something and you can't move at that very moment, how do you act? Are you going to get irritated or are you going to let it pass? There's still forward movement, but it's just a little slow.
Right.
Take that because that's your time to be at peace.
Exactly.
Because when there's room for you to grow and go, all that sitting back and stuff, what you doing? You got to keep going. Come on.
Right. Right.
Traffic done cleared up. Come on. Ain't nobody sitting. Why are you on the freeway? Driving 55. Go, get off.
Right.
You could do that on the street and get pulled over, but you better off on the street going less than on the freeway.
Yes.
So, I had to look at it like that. I had to change my perspective on it. So now when I'm in traffic, I be chilling. I'm like, okay. Y'all going slow. I be looking at cars like, oh, those are some nice rims you got there.
Right.
I'm looking at other people's cars. Like every time I see my car like mine, I'm like, ooh, you got a blue one too. Like, and then when traffic clear up, I'm like, all right, I ain't got time to sit here and be. I ain't gonna tell on myself, but I ain't got time to be checking my messages while I'm driving.
Right. Definitely.
So I appreciate the traffic now because I just be looking at it like shit. I'm not in control of this. I didn't make this road because if I did, it wouldn't be no potholes.
Exactly.
Golly.
And then too, again, being
like, how do we have potholes in the street? LA, come on. Y'all, they want to build stadiums and shit, and we can't even get to them safely because you finna pop your tire.
Man, that sounds like Oakland.
Right, make it make sense.
They're not using the money for the right things.
Girl, we know what they're using it for. We know, because it's showing what we use it for. Because listen, I still want my 40 acres and a mule, okay?
Okay.
But at this point, I don't want a mule. I need an all-white horse.
For real.
Okay?
For real.
I want an all-white horse. Or a matter of fact, I want an all-black one. Because I did see an all-white horse and an all-black horse before, and they're just beautiful. Like,
yes, they are.
Really beautiful.
If you braid the hair and let it get wavy.
Yes. And can you imagine to have the patience of a horse?
Man, yes.
Somebody jumping on your back and you carrying them and they running and shit.
And they kicking you to run faster. I took my daughter to the rodeo for the first time this year and she cried because they were, so they had I think it was the sheep, lambs, and they're on the cows, I think. They came out on the cows and then they were kind of like roping up the sheep and pulling them. And she's like, why are they strangling them? Then with the horses, they have them in that little small section. They put the buckle on them. Right. And so they have this buckle on that's like squeezing their abdomen. And then when they get out, that's, you're like riding the horse until you can't ride it anymore.
Right.
That's,
you kick
like,
it and shit. Like,
it was torture. And she's like, these horses are hurting mommy. Like, why are these people doing this? I'm like, I thought we was going to come here and have a good time. And they out here torturing the animals.
And I love that for her because she already compassionate, you know? And that's the truth, though. Like, the patience of a horse, because when I was looking at just walking and the horses just be chilling, minding their business, all they want to do is just stand there and do what they're going to do in the barn. But y'all want to kick them and stuff, brand them and stuff, like, and then they hooves, like, you know what? I really don't like seeing when people walk their dogs and it's hot outside. How would you like to walk barefoot out here?
Awesome. Right. Hot ass concrete.
And making the dogs go hiking and stuff. They don't want to be outside doing that.
Okay, so listen, I'm so glad you brought this up because I remember it was a point in time where people left their damn dogs at home. Okay? Like, when did dogs start coming to the grocery shop? Why is your dog at the amusement park? Like, I don't understand. Sometimes dogs be in places and I just be like, why? When
Why
did
is your
this
dog? Why is your dog in the produce aisle?
right? I don't want that. For you may let your
I
animals in
don't
the
want
kitchen, but
it. You're not picking it up. You're not putting it in the basket. You're not doing anything with that dog. The dog is, and then then people be like, my dog don't bite. I don't care what your dog
he
does and
might
don't
not
do.
bite you, but that motherfucker don't know me.
You know what I can't stand? I can't stand when people get the dogs that bark at them too when they trying to stop them from barking at people.
Your dog don't even respect you.
Why'd you get that? And I love dogs. I love dogs, but those dogs get on my nerves.
Oh man, that's so
Those
funny.
dogs get on my nerves. But you know what, Auntie Chi, I appreciate you today.
Oh, I appreciate being
You
here.
know, and I thank you so much for even taking the time and spending time to speak about you, give some insight to your experiences, give someone something to remember you by, and let alone understand about you. So I
Yeah,
thank you so much for that because
I
Heaven's World needs it. There's a lot
yes.
of people in Heaven's World, so y'all get this ain't gonna be the last time you see Chi, okay?
Okay, I'm down with that. But I definitely appreciate being able to be here because I know that for if I am who I am, there's someone out there who is similar or can resonate or can relate. And it's important for us to be able to see ourselves in other people because then that will give us the notion like it's okay for me to be myself because there's other
Absolutely.
people out here like me. And I think that as Black women, we've had to fit into this little square ass box for so long. And it's time to step out of that shit. Break
Yeah.
all the barriers, walk over all the borderlines, and just be yourself. No matter how complex you are, you're not complicated. You're just you, and it's okay to be
That's it.
different. Don't ever let anybody make you feel like you're not, a great person.
And there's a uniqueness to us all. And
Right.
like you said, these little boxes, like you see, we in these little boxes right here, but you see, my hand still extends out to here, just
Okay.
letting
Way
people know
out.
there's always more to see. Okay.
Okay.
There's always more to see because that's what a Black woman is. There's more to
Right.
see. We're
Let's get
always
to this shit.
more. We're always more. And we don't need to fit in anything because if it's not working, we go make what does.
Right. Or
The
that.
simplicity of life. I have been learning how much I used to complicate my life that now I just look at stuff so simple to the point where when people ask me, what am I doing with my life? I'm living it. And they're like, no, I mean, like, where do you
Exactly.
work? Like, living. So
That's
you work
exactly
at
my focus.
how much money do you make? Why does that matter?
Exactly.
Why does this matter? Does it that matter? It is not going to matter. Because if you're not going to pay my bills, that doesn't matter. Right. And if you're not going to contribute to my lifestyle, that doesn't matter, right? So it's like when people ask these unimportant questions, right? Like, what are you doing? Stuff? No, just ask someone, how are you navigating in life now? How's your
Exactly.
life going for you? Not what you're doing, because that's gonna always change. And a person like me, I need variety. So I'm definitely always doing something different, and I'm always getting the exact results from it. And that's that.
The bottom line, the common denominator is just to have peace, So it's like it doesn't
Yes.
matter what I'm doing. That's that societal judgmental stuff because it's like, okay,
Yes.
doing, then I can see what type of person you are or what type of pedestal I should or shouldn't put you on based on what you tell me.
Right.
Like you said, I am
Right.
living life. I am enjoying nature. I am going outside and breathing fresh air. That's what I'm doing.
That's exactly what listen. I am making the best of this life because the most for sure thing that we do know, okay? Because we don't know everything we're learning, but what we do know is that we die. And
Right.
when we leave these vessels that we are borrowing, because we're on borrowed time with them every day, we wake up, every day we step outside, every day we drink water. You could drink it the wrong way, choke, boom.
Right.
Small things, right? We take for granted the biggest things that are, and it's the things we cannot physically see. The inside, how your body is holding itself together so that you can stand up.
Right.
You can't see your skeleton.
Or
You
the
don't know
joint.
what your bones is looking like. You know what
Exactly.
I'm saying? But one thing's for sure is that we do go. And nobody's gonna say, and I've never heard nobody, and in many funerals I done been to, I ain't never heard nobody say, the way she swept her house, the way she kept her house clean, the way he drove that car, the way his credit was, nobody's saying that shit.
Right.
Nobody's saying that shit. It
Now I
matters while you're here to enjoy a certain side of life, yes. But what matters ultimately is the legacy that you're leaving on this earth when you go. Because
Yes.
if we do come back as any spiritual entities at this point, if we do come back, what would you want to see when you come back?
That's so, so true. And it's so
Would you want
crazy.
somebody to be like, she had a house, and when she died, the family didn't even take care of it, the house gone. And don't nobody know, for 12 years straight, you was trying to fix your credit, work all these jobs, you bought that house off, and then you went.
Right. Right. It's so
It's
crazy.
said and done after that, you know? So that's why when people ask what I'm doing, I used to get so frustrated with that question because I felt like I needed the right answer, the right job, the right pay rate, the right words, the right. And then I said, why the fuck do you care what I'm doing? Ask me how I'm doing.
That is so true because I,
Ask
I
me how I'm
actually get
doing. Because what I'm
upset.
doing don't matter. Because what if I'm doing absolutely nothing? And so now I'm going to seem boring because I'm just sitting here, which I should just be sitting here because you happen to ask me when I wasn't doing nothing. But then if I'm not doing nothing, you think I'm available to you.
Right.
Skirt.
Just because I'm not busy does not mean I am available to you.
That's why you have to ask me how I'm doing because then I might be available to you.
And see, it's important too because it's like, even if I'm doing all these things that you consider to be great, I'm the CEO of this company and I just made this, pledge to this charity. I could be doing all these great things, but I'm unhappy. If you ask me how I'm doing as a person, as a human being, that will
Mm-hmm.
tell you how everything else is going on. Because if I tell you,
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm really at peace right now, you'll know that everything else is going great. And if I tell,
Yeah.
hey, I'm having a really hard time, I'm having a lot of bad, headaches and anxiety, and I'm feeling really down, like that will then tell you also how everything else is going. So asking me how I'm doing as a person is so much more important than what the fuck I'm doing.
Oh, absolutely. Because, you know, what we're doing does not define us, but how you're doing defines
Right.
you. Because
Right.
what if you're in a state of not talking and somebody asks you what you're doing and you just had like a 30-minute breakdown because you feel like you're not doing nothing in life and somebody asks you what you're doing in your life? Oh, god damn. You can go
Right.
to waterworks. You gonna fuck up
Right.
somebody's whole mental asking them what they're doing if they're not happy with where they're at.
Right. That's so
And
important.
we are already hard on ourselves enough. We already do it. We're already wake up in the morning, look on Instagram, you see somebody in Turks and Caicos, and you like, why the fuck I'm not in Turks and Caicos? And
Right.
now you feel like you're not doing shit in life because you gotta go to work today. But honestly, that's your life. You going to work, you having whatever fun you want to have with whatever you can and whatever you want to do. That's your life. Then waking up doing something is their life. But a lot of the time, see, one thing about this social media world is, and this is why I tell people you do not need to be real on here. You don't got to be real on Instagram because it's not real. Real is in people don't need to know every goddamn thing. Leave some mystery to yourself.
Right.
But the
That,
thing about the pictures is, and I say mystery is in because this is when people go, okay, well then what about people that twerk on Instagram? I'm one of them. I like dancing. I don't give a damn. You think I'm gonna stop dancing because you think my Instagram needs to look like this? No. But
right.
I'm human at the end of the day. So no, I'm not walking. So when you see me, no, I'm not gonna be dancing. Like what? That's not how that works. But it's like I say that to say, like, you don't even know if somebody's really even doing something, right? Because you don't know if that picture old. They just
Right.
decided to post it
It
today.
could be
They posted
recycled.
that picture they took that picture in 2019 and you think they did it today. So now you feel less than in your whole day and whole life because you looked at an old ass picture that you thought was new.
Right. And that's why we need to be more mindful with how we operate, because we should not be waking up and the first thing we doing is looking at Instagram. Like,
Right.
again, whatever you believe in, God, Buddha, Allah, the universe, Mother Nature, you need to be thanking somebody for waking you up, because you didn't do that shit your damn self. Like the same
Okay.
way that people just go to sleep and don't wake up, they cannot control that the same way that you woke up. So being
Right.
push you in a different mindset. I try to keep my phone
Right.
on the other side of the room. So like, I'm not scrolling at night when I should be going to sleep, or I'm not waking up and the first thing I'm doing is hopping on to, see what everybody else got going.
Yeah.
When you can put yourself first at the beginning of your day, that's what's going to transition you into having a more positive day. You can't wake up and start instantly comparing yourself to what other people are doing, because like you said, people
No.
ain't real. People out here real
No.
cards and taking
You
pictures
don't even know what
and
people
stuff
look
back.
like. You don't
Right.
know what people look like. See, the thing is, I had to learn that. Like, I'm definitely I spend time on my phone, but that's because I do my jobs. require me to not be on my phone. But then if I get on my phone, I'll take time on it, you know? So I had to tell myself last night, I got off work, no, this morning when I got off work, and I was like, get off your phone. Go rest your eyes. What are you doing?
Right.
Get off your phone. But I mean, having a podcast though and wanting to grow it keeps me on my phone.
Mhm.
But at the same time, if I'm looking at content or looking for content or getting ideas and getting inspirations, that takes time. But then I had to tell myself, if you're when you're not doing those things and you're just scrolling, get off your phone. So
Right.
like I don't plug my phone up in my room when I leave my phone in my living room and I keep it plugged up. And I let that just stay, and then I go to sleep, whatever, wake up, and then if I get on my phone, it's to see messages because I keep my phone on do not disturb. I do not have my notifications on my phone at all. My phone stays on do not disturb. My family can't stand it, but at the same time, I will get back to you. It's
Right.
only because I might answer on the first ring and I might not answer at all. Only because I honor how I'm feeling. Nobody has, because at first I used to be like, this person makes me feel like I want to answer the phone. No, I honor how I feel. So if somebody calls me and I know that it may not be a conversation I feel like entertaining and or having, I'm not getting on the phone. I'll call you back when I feel like how you felt to talk about it. Now, if
Right.
it's an emergency, I'm answering. But an emergency for sure, not an emergency. I just want you to answer. Like, no. And
Yeah.
my people that are intertwined with me know that you also cannot call me because you're bored.
Listen, I got things
Don't call
going on
me when you're bored.
because you don't have nothing going on. Don't mean I got
Why
time.
are you call? Text me. Text me because you're bored. Don't call me because you're bored. Because now you're holding my phone up.
Listen, if you that bored, you need to go get a book. Okay, there are plenty of
Why are
games
you
to play.
bored and
You can
calling?
download the word search. You can download
Yes.
Wants to be a millionaire, but don't do that to me because
Yeah.
I'm not.
Why are you calling because you're bored? Don't do that to me. Don't make it seem like I'm not doing nothing with my time.
Right. Right. That's
Okay. Don't make it seem
true.
like. Don't make me bored. Like how that? We ain't doing that. So
That's
yes,
one
like
of
I just go ahead.
that's one of the layers to shedding as a people pleaser is knowing, like, first of all, you have to categorize people because everybody ain't your friend. Some people may just need
Okay.
to be acquaintances that you talk to for certain, like, we're helping each other, or we're business partners, or like, everybody is not the type of person you need to sit on the phone for with 2 hours, because if you ain't talking about nothing, you're taking away from the time I could be doing something to pour into myself or the different things
Mm-hmm.
I going on. So once you learn how to categorize people, it's easier to understand, like, okay, this person doesn't deserve this much energy. Like, I can talk to you, but maybe I'll just not pick up the phone right now, and I'll call you back when it's more convenient for me because I'm in the zone
Yes.
doing something else. And that's another thing, is like, not feeling like you're obligated to pick up the phone. Just because somebody calls you does not mean you have to answer. It's okay to let that, they made voicemail for a reason. Utilize.
Hello.
Okay. And
Oh,
then you don't even have to listen. You can just read the text of the voice
right.
message.
Right. They made it so easy for us. You
Right.
like, don't make it easy for the do not disturbs. But no, I feel like I feel that. Like honestly, being and and I'm not afraid to say the things that I've overcome, you know? I'm not afraid anymore because when I tell people, yeah, I used to be a people pleaser. I used to be a very jealous person, an envious person. I was ran by ego. I was very childish, petty, and malicious. If I wanted revenge on somebody, I definitely always got my lick back. I always did. I wasn't a good person, but I'm able to say that because I'm a better person today.
Right.
And those are no longer parts of me like where, oh, those can still surface. No, those parts of me have been shedded. And I had to
Mhm.
hurt a lot to shed them.
Right.
So
That
that's why now I treat people like with the same respect as I would treat anybody. I treat people the same way I treat nature, just as beautiful. And even if that means I don't like them, it's still a beautiful thing because we don't have to be around each other.
right.
It's
Definitely.
still a beautiful thing because I'm not going to be the person that says, oh, you just get along with everybody. No, there's people in the world that deserve to be exactly where you have them, arm's length.
Right. Right.
And don't feel bad about it. Leave them there
When you
because a lot of
understand
people,
yourself,
you
you'll
know.
understand when it's time to, like, distance yourself from other people or certain
Mm-hmm.
situations, because it's just not serving your highest
Yeah,
good.
and what's the point in holding on to things and being around? Like, I just don't see the use in it anymore. But when I was my lowest self, I did always see the use in getting people back, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And now that I'm older, I look at that and I don't shame myself. I used to be so hard on myself, right? Because we only hold ourselves to the opinions of others when somebody tells us. Because if you don't feel wrong about something that you did and you feel like, yeah, I acted like that, I did that, and you don't feel wrong about it, you can stand on it and hold yourself accountable. The only reason why you would feel like, ooh, that was wrong is because somebody told you.
Right. Right. Because
So when you
before
rid
you
yourself of what somebody thinks of you, you can live this life of, you shouldn't be thinking of me no way.
exactly. It's so many other things for you to be focused on.
Oh yes, you should be thinking of me no way. Why you think about me? Don't think about me if you don't like me. I don't like you. Don't I ain't think about you. And that's how we do it. And it's
Right.
not even a dislike where I gotta carry it into my next life or my next day or even the next hour. It's just the fact that you wouldn't be a person in my energy bubble, and that's okay.
Right. It's definitely okay. And I'm gonna call
And
my
that's how we
power
do
back
that.
to you when I'm done interacting with you.
Yes, yes, we don't have to interact with each other, and that's a beautiful thing. We don't have to be in spaces. We don't have to share spaces with one another. See, that's my thing with coming together as a community of Black people is the fact that we have to also be totally honest with ourselves and say that, if there's another Black person you're not getting along with, but it is a valid reason for that, and valid would mean you don't tolerate disrespect, or valid would mean y'all just don't, energies don't mix. Those are valid reasons, and that's okay. It don't have to be animosity. You know what I'm saying? So when I say don't like, the dislike for somebody doesn't have to follow with a problem.
Disrespect. Yeah.
It's just we don't. That's it,
Right.
and that's
Yeah,
it, and then it's not a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like I think 50
right.
Cent said it in the interview when somebody asked him, "Does he want a problem?" and he says, "No problem. I don't want no problem," or "It's no problem," or something like that. And he was like, "They take it as I want a problem because I'm saying it's no problem if you have a problem."
Right.
Because it's true, it's no problem. Like it doesn't matter. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. But
Some
I
people.
do thank you so much, Chi.
Yeah.
And
No
you
problem.
guys, thank you
You.
for listening to us, watching us. Like,
Yes.
share, subscribe. She is also putting together a podcast, y'all. So make sure you check her out. I tagged our Instagrams in the description. So definitely give us I was gonna say a holler for $1, but we ain't selling nothing. But I thank you. And
Thank
I will
you.
talk to you soon. Thank
Yes.
you
Yes.
guys.
Peace and gratitude, y'all. Thank you so much for tapping in. Have a good day.
Yes.